Welcome back to the shop. When we last left off in that last video, we were working on this knife out of a pipe wrench jaw that I'm making for my brother, and we had forged the knife out and done our rough grinds. Well, I came back and did another complete video. Was over 3/4 of an hour long, where I went through the entire we had gotten through heat treating on the knife in that last video, but the video wouldn't upload for whatever reason. YouTube would not. The YouTube, whatever it is that processes the video uploaded, but it wouldn't process. It was about a 50-minute video. I entailed everything. I trimmed this hump down. We lengthened out this clip point to give it a little better look. All the grinding and cleanup and everything that I did, and then heat treated the knife, and none of that, I can't show any of that video. I don't know what happened. I had different camera angles. It was going to be very cool, but I've tried 3 times, I think, to upload it to YouTube, and YouTube just can't process the video for whatever reason. I thought maybe I had corrupted video or SD card in the camera. I bought a new SD card and what have you, and I tried chopping out different sections and tried everything. It just doesn't work. It will not upload that video. So, I mean, it'll upload it and won't process it. So we're going to try it again with this, not with this knife. We're going to save this. This knife has been final ground, other than it still needs, now it's been tempered. We're up to the tempering point. So in the video that you should have been able to see, I did all the final grinding up to what we have here, about a 32nd of an inch left. So all that needs to be done on this knife now to finish it is just clean up and final sharpening, final bevel, and this knife is done. I apologize. I don't know why the program wouldn't process the video. It would go through uploading, would upload the entire video, and then it would be processing the video, and then it would jump all of a sudden from like 14% to 95%, and then it just wouldn't go past 95. It would say the video is 95% processed. You can publish the video when processing is finished. It never would go past 95. I could go into my video manager, click on that video, and it would play the first 14 minutes out of a 50-minute video. So I don't know what happened. I tried it, like I say, several times. I apologize. But that part's not going to be able to be shown. But we will make another video on the final finish work of this knife, and you'll get to see what it looks like all shined up and finished up. But that's not our project for today. Today we are going to start doing a little work on I'm going to remodel this shop. I'm so tired of having nothing but a mess in here. So I mean, not that it's that messy, but I just have so many things that I use in my shop when I'm forging and grinding and knife making and that, and it's just not as organized as I would like it to be. So what we're going to do is get rid of this mess here. I mean, this bench over here that I don't work on, to have all my belts, hung up there, and the top of this bench is just a vertical surface in which to pile things. And there's just not enough room on this bench to really put things neatly and what have you, and it just takes up a lot of room that I could use for other things. I've got all this mess down here on the floor of leaf springs, rebar, you know, metals, various bars of steel that I use. This bandsaw blade laying there. I just have all this stuff that's just like piled over here in this corner, and we want to rectify that. I've got this one little shelf here, and really it's just one of them small little flimsy shelves, not much to it, not much room on it. But we're going to get rid of that bench. That's got to go. I'm going to use some of the wood in that bench to build a couple of sawhorses. This bench over here where I actually do my work, it gets a little cluttered while I'm working, but I normally keep it pretty cleaned up and straightened up. But I need a better place to put everything than stacking it on there. I've got more belts hung up over there on another little pegboard that I have. I've got another little piece of pegboard hanging up here that really isn't in a position to where I can use it. This table here takes up a whole bunch of room in my shop, you know, out away from the wall. We're going to do away with that table, and we're going to come in here just about this level where this line in the sheetrock is, and I'm just going to put a 2x12. You know, it'll come out just 2x12, like a little bar. I'll forge some shelf brackets to mount it with, and I'm just going to router the edges of it nicely and clean it up. Just a piece of redwood probably, and kind of clean it up and throw some clear on it, and then I'm going to buy some stools and put right here along the edge. Well, that'll open up all of this space here. Get rid of that table. A friend of mine brought these lights over for me. I've got these great big 4-bulb lights that I'm going to put in that I can use. What do you call them? Gosh, I can't remember now what. You know, the new fancy schmancy lights that aren't neon. They're sorry, the word escapes me right now, but, and you know, that whole wall over there, I've got all this crap piled up in here. So what we're going to do is just open up this space a little more. We get rid of some of these things that we don't need. My son, I got this shelf from a neighbor. This is not a bad shelf. It's probably 6 feet tall or so, and got plenty of shelf space on it. And then I got another shelf over here from my son. Now this one is a big, heavy industrial shelf. It's probably going to go right to the garage ceiling. I may have to move that bottom shelf up a few notches and cut these legs off a little bit to give me a little more room, but that is going to go back in that corner once we get rid of that. Once we get rid of that ridiculous bench there, I've showed you in previous videos, this thing is very wobbly. It worries me that it might fall over at some point, but see, that'll be gone, and we'll put that large shelf will go right back there in that corner, and then I can slide the toolbox down that way. I'll probably put that other shelf in this side of the corner, so I have one shelf over on that side, one in this side, and then I can slide the toolbox down that way, and we'll probably just completely do away with this one. I don't know, I may find a use for it, but I just can't have things piled up like they are and just piled all over that thing. I really want to get my area opened up a little more and cleaned up. Excuse me. And another thing that we're going to do is, you see these cracks up here where the cement meets the ceiling. It gets worse as you go this way. We've got all this big crack. It's opened up almost over an inch back here on the back, until you get to this wall where the house actually is, and then that's all been sheetrocked, but none of it's been finished. This house was built in 1987. I bought it a couple of years ago, and this garage has looked like this, with just these ugly bare concrete walls with all the form marks and everything on them since 1987. Nobody's really done anything. The only reason that wall over there is sheetrock is because that's where the house is. The rest of this is exterior walls. So that's all exterior. This back wall is all exterior. And of course we have the garage door itself. And that wall over there has been sheetrock, but that's it. So we're going to come in here with some of that foam, that spray foam, and we're going to fill in these big cracks here. And at one time someone was going to take, you can see they put the framework to do metal studs in here, and they were going to make a little room there for a laundry room where the washer and dryer sits. Well, then they never did it, which I'm glad, because that would take up, you know, a large chunk of space in my shop here. But I'm going to take those all down and get rid of those. We're going to paint the ceiling. It's all sheetrock, and I don't really care about some of these holes and stuff that are cut up in there. I mean, that's not a huge factor for me, but it just looks terrible just being mudded and sheetrocked like it is. And so we're gonna paint this ceiling a nice white, semi-gloss white, which will help reflect more light. These crappy little lights gotta go. They're garbage. They don't work worth a hoot. I'm gonna put those big lights in over there that I have in the corner. I'm gonna mount some type of special light right here above my grinder. Up here, I haven't figured out just what I'm gonna do there yet, but I'm gonna mount a bright light, because you can't have enough light when you're grinding. I mean, you really need to have good lighting when you're grinding. And once I have this foam sprayed in all these cracks and it sets, you know, it'll ooze out of the cracks a little bit, and you'll have a little bit of a bulge coming out. We'll take and trim that off nice and even. And then I'm going to, I've found some paneling that I really like at Home Depot. And we'll panel the 3 walls with that, so it'll look like a nice wooden interior in the shop. I thought about using a red brick, which would be really cool. You know, it would give it that old time retro, you know, brick building look, like it would be in a blacksmith shop or something. But I got to looking at the color of that red brick, and it's pretty dark, and I have a problem with lighting in here in the first place. So I found a kind of a knotty pine looking wood paneling that I think will look real nice, and it'll be brighter, and so it will help with the lighting here in the shop. But that's where we're going, and until I get this shop finished up and done, I probably won't be doing any knife, you know, or forging videos. I just really need to get this mess organized and looking better, and just cleaned up to where, you know, it'll look better on video. It'll be a lot more organized. Once I have all this junk out of the way, then I'll forge some nice hooks, and, like, you know, to put my belts on and what have you. I'll forge some really nice hooks, and we'll bolt a board up to the wall with lag bolts, and I'll hang those hooks, and I'll have a nice, you know, I'll have a nice area either there or maybe down in this area here, where I can hang all of my belts in sequence of grit and size and what have you. So that'll be, instead of having, look, I have belts all over the place. I have 1x30 belts laying here on the bench. I have 1x30 belts up here on this hook. I have 1x30 belts on the pegboard all across there. I have 2x72 belts up on the hook. I have 2x72 belts laying on my workbench over here. And I have 2x72 belts laying on the dryer and hung up there, along with more 1x30 belts. I mean, you use a lot of abrasives when you're making knives and what have you. And I just really need to get all that stuff organized better, you know, so that it'll just make everything so much easier. The more stuff I accumulate in my shop, which, you know, I keep accumulating more and more stuff. I've bought a buffer. I bought this buffer here, which is going to make it really nice when I'm buffing out final finishes on knives and what have you. But, you know, and like I say, I just keep accumulating more things, but the space doesn't get any bigger in my shop. So we're going to take a little break from the knives and what have you. And of course, I work a lot this time of year too. I'm in construction trucking, so seems like I'm always at work. I work a lot of hours, and it's hot. You know, it's going to be 100-degree day here in Salt Lake City today. So I'm really, when it's 100 degrees in the shop, it's not a really appealing thing to fire up the forge and want to beat hot steel, you know. So, especially after you've worked a 12 or 13-hour day. So, and then on the weekends I have all my yard work and what have you to do. So things have slowed down as far as the forging goes. But we're going to get this shop all fixed up and looking nicer and reorganized and cleaned up to where everything is in its place, and it'll just make things so much easier, you know, with the forging and everything. So stick around, and we'll probably do a little series of videos on this shop renovation, we'll call it, and then I'll take you with me to watch how it changes, you know, as we get things done. So, hey, thanks for watching this. Hope you have a wonderful day. It's Sunday here, and so I plan on getting this foam put in and a few things like that. Maybe I'll throw a few shots of that in, and we're just going to kind of go for a little journey here and get the shop cleaned up. So thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and like I said, I'll throw a little bit of clips up of spraying that stuff up in there and what have you, so stick around. Well, okay guys, we've got our can of great stuff, foam insulating material that we're going to use. We're going to start filling these gaps up here. So let's see how this works. Wow. guys, well, it's the next day, and you can see we got our stuff all up in there, our foam, and it's all cured. So now today we're going to go ahead and we'll get that trimmed up and cleaned up and stuff, and start putting our paneling up if we can. We've got to clean up these walls a little bit, maybe take the cup grinder and grind some of this stuff down here where it's so rough, so that the paneling will lay a little flatter. But that's not a big deal with that cup grinder. That'll go pretty fast. But we had a pretty big crack up here, especially this back part. It was like an inch. So that's all filled in, and now we're ready to go ahead and get that done. So I just wanted to show you the end result of that, and we'll call this video number 1 of remodeling the shop, refurbishing the shop, redoing the upgrading the shop. I don't know what we can call it, but this is video number 1. So thanks for watching and being here, and stay tuned for the next phase. So be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet, and see what's going on in the shop here. So we'll see you on the next one.